imagine getting all the way there for them to say
Google
you missed
Maps
it.
saved my ass by me running it in advance on the computer and sending it to my phone. Google Maps saved my ass. And hi everybody. I know I just see Discord. All of this has popped in. I was plotting my route for my appointment on Monday, and I'm looking at Google Maps, and it's like, did you know your destination's in a different time zone? Well,
Oh,
bugger. Guess what? I gotta be there by 7 a.m. my time, beating traffic on a freeway in a massive city, Louisville, Kentucky. Yeah, we gotta leave at like 3
oh my
a.m. We
gosh.
gotta leave at 3, even though it's only a 2 hour drive, according to Clean Roads, does not account for idiots and traffic and circling the building 6 times trying to find a parking spot.
Right, right. Wow.
So we have to leave here at 3 a.m. to be there by 7 a.m. my time, which means it's 8 o'clock Eastern. Yeah, I've been crunching numbers and oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, it's been rough. And Danny's out there. I don't have a flashlight. I'm not going to work. And I'm like, you have 2 kids and they each have a cell phone. And guess what their cell phone has? A flashlight. And my daughter's like, well, my battery's about to die. I'm like, there is a big old power bank that jump starts the car. Plug your phone into it because it has a port and stand out there with your father and hold the flashlight.
Oh my gosh.
I remember having
Well,
the
good
electric
evening.
ones with the little hook that you had to hold
Right.
up. I
Yep,
could turn it
yep,
on with the little push button switch that goes all the
yep,
way through. Oh my god. Yeah, my kids are so spoiled compared to what I had. All you gotta do is shake your phone to wake it up and oh, magic.
yep. Magic. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, good evening,
Oh,
everybody. Thank you for
oh,
joining
let
our
me
sisters.
yeah, let me share this with you. Oh my god. Yeah, I've had a day. I've had a day
I think it's
today.
green. There
I'm
you go.
sharing right now.
Okay, cool. Thank you, ma'am.
Hi, Blue
Good
Rose.
evening, everybody. Hey, Blue. Today is Thursday, February 12th, 2026 at about 7:04 p.m. and Crazy B's losing her mind. I'm losing my mind. We both think that we will be back in time on Monday, but just in
Uh-huh.
case we're not, we'll throw a video up. We both have doctor's appointments. And then next week on Wednesday, we're going to go live because I have a late doctor's appointment an hour away. Ain't that funny? Ah, I don't need Google Maps though, and it is in the same time zone, so I'm safe. Uh, but I have a late doctor's appointment on Thursday. So does Eric.
Uh-huh.
So, hey Art, Art,
Alert.
I thought you were taking more time off. I thought you had work to do at home. Uh huh. He's not doing his work at home.
Yeah. Or I'm not flying. I just got to drive up to Louisville to see a rheumatologist because the only rheumatologist in my area is a douchebag. Putting it nicely, he is a dumbass. I can't stand the motherfucker. He's the only one in an hour distant radius that takes my insurance. So I had to get to a rheumatologist in Louisville because the jackass that was seeing me, that was supposed to see me, is like just copped an attitude and basically said if I didn't have a massive bald spot on my head, he wasn't even going to bother treating me.
Oh my lord. What's the massive bald spot supposed to represent?
Oh, my hair falling out. The way my hair's been falling out in the mass quantities it is.
Right.
Mm-hmm. He said, well, if it's not a bald spot, there's nothing we can do about it. And yeah,
Oh,
he's just an asshole. He was very rude. I said I wanted further testing, but I didn't want to go on narcotics, and I had a pain management specialist. And he just said, fine, and walked out the door and said, I refused further testing. I'm like, no, I just wanted to confirm you would be communicating with my pain specialist, right? Nope. He basically gave me the middle finger and walked out. So, yeah.
oh
That
wow.
that's why is
Important. Yeah.
Monday is a do or die day. Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, if you have to start walking Saturday, you might make it by Monday.
Art says you guys are on later. I'm usually done or dead by 4 p.m. Depends on the task. That is true.
Good. I
We have been doing later since the last time Art was on here.
That's true. But I just got off of my feet since 2:15. I made 3 meatloaves. I made homemade scalloped potatoes with homemade sauce. We had corn, lima beans. I wanted to make those things that we saw Nicole make, those little mini Boston cream pie things. You take the sweet Hawaiian rolls and stick vanilla pudding and Cool Whip in there and then dip it in dark chocolate. Well, you have to bake it for a couple minutes and then
That
dip it in
sounds
dark chocolate.
yummy.
Yeah, and they had the nerve to say to me, "Well, why didn't you get that done?" And I'm like, "You better get out of my face." Between onions and carrots, and I bought one of those mandolin cutters, and yeah, well, there's no skin in the potatoes, but I took a chunk of skin out on my finger. Ooh,
Mm-hmm.
oh, it helps to read directions because it has a big hand guard that
Uh-huh.
it looks like it has little spikes, right? But
Uh-huh.
no, if you press the top, out come like these four thick nail things that I could use that as a weapon, actually. It would probably pierce
Home
your heart.
defense and dinner
Uh-huh.
prep.
Exactly. Yep. Heart, just go
What
for
was
the
it we
heart.
were joking about earlier? Welcome to the house.
Yes.
Pick your weapon. Here's our menu.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Pick what I
Yep.
use against you. Here's the menu.
Uh-huh. Yep.
And oh, sorry, we're
Y-
out of those. You're stuck with this.
Yep. So now we have another weapon to add to our collection.
Yes, the graters. The for
Yes.
potatoes and
Yeah.
slicers and
Uh-huh.
stuff. I have a meat slicer.
Yeah, there you go. There's an option.
Oh, I have an
Yeah.
industrial meat slicer here at the house.
Yeah, there you go.
I could just
Except,
take the blade off and chuck it like a ninja star.
geez. Oh, here we go. We're going to start again. Oh, fudge.
I figured we might as well at least post it what I could use against them so they have an
I
idea.
agree. So they,
And
right,
while they're reading the menu, I can call 911 so they can send the ambulance to pick them up, you know?
right, right. Yeah, Art, I agree with you. I'm still waiting for a bottle of vodka. So
Oh,
maybe this weekend. That would be
maybe.
a nice distraction, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but I
I could
can't.
do.
I've got to go in for all kinds of
Oh
blood work and
yeah,
stuff. I
yeah,
can't do it.
yeah, yeah. You'll be calling you a drug addict.
Uh huh.
Uh huh.
They are going to probably take about half my blood, leave just enough so I don't actually die, and
Right.
just kind of go from there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Isn't it
Next.
great?
Yep. Next week's going to be a interesting week for us.
Uh, God, I hate getting old. But you know, if they had done this stuff right when I was younger, I wouldn't be in this predicament now. It shouldn't have taken 30 years, almost 30 years, for them to figure out, oh, we know what's wrong with you now. You have an autoimmune disorder. Like, no shit. I've been telling you that. Hasn't anyone
Right.
thought to narrow it down?
Uh,
No.
and I told you. I
Um,
mean,
um.
uh, personally, after everything I've been through, I told you that I'm praying for you that they find an answer, but I wouldn't hold your breath.
Hmm. It's narrowed down to like three things.
Yeah.
They've got it mostly narrowed down. Now they've just got to confirm it. There is a possibility it could be all three at once.
Right.
It may not be bad enough to actually start treatment, but at least put it on the record so I have it for
Yes, ma'am.
reference.
There you go.
Like, I mean, you heard me today. Both my elbows are hurting. And what did I do? I opened the weather app, and I'm like, is it supposed to rain today? Oh, nope, not till Sunday. Well,
Yep.
I'm hurting.
I wish we could pick the lottery numbers.
If I could pick the lottery numbers based on joint pain, we'd be great.
I know, that's what I'm
Oh, my
saying.
nose is hurting. That must be 40. My left wrist. Oh, there's number 2.
There's
Right
Yep.
wrist, number 1. Left hip.
Yeah.
Oh, that's 35.
There you go.
There's the
There
lotto
you go.
numbers.
Oh,
your red blood cells are huge, and how much have you been drinking lately? True story.
oh, that's funny.
Oh God, I know it though. I know it all too well.
Uh-huh.
Oh
All
God.
right, were you ready to get started?
Physically, mentally.
No, I'm not. I'm laying right on the heating pad right this second.
Oh, okay, you're gonna lay on the heating pad. Okay.
Yeah, I need to take some medication, but I'm afraid then I'll fall asleep. I've been up since. Well, you've been up since what, 3?
Uh huh.
I have you beat. I have you beat. I've been up since 9:37 p.m. yesterday.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that sounds
and
about
now
right.
I'm dead. I'm dead.
We'll try to get through as much of this as possible. Expect random laughter, absolute me going off the walls, bonkers. And if Dee starts snoring or talking in her sleep, we just kind of
Yep,
ignore that and we move on with the conversation.
right. There you go. I do not believe I snore, at least according to Eric. So, but I do talk in my sleep.
Yes,
I work in my sleep. So I think I should get paid for all the work I do.
I agree.
If I'm
You
gonna
should
be,
charge the
yeah,
city for all the back pay for the last few
yep,
decades that you've been working in your sleep. Mhm.
yep. And I say, crazy B, you didn't get this report out to me today. You know,
And I don't answer because I'm not
I know
there.
you don't. That's funny. Oh shit. All right,
All
go
right.
ahead, hit it, girl.
First up, we have another virtue signal that kind
Yeah,
of backfired.
big
And
time.
again, there are some points that were made in this that I understand why they made those points, but I also like the argument that was given in rebuttal to it. So
Yes.
I was listening a little bit while editing, and oh, buddy.
Uh-huh. He
Uh
did
huh.
a and out of everything that I've seen so far, I like what he has to say mixed along with Stephen A. Smith.
Uh
Um,
huh.
it was a nice takedown, let's put it that way.
Mm-hmm. So,
Yep.
all right, let me hit play.
Something just cracked wide open, and it wasn't just about music. When Bad Bunny stepped onto the stage at the NFL Super Bowl halftime show, it should have been a celebration, but instead it turned into a cultural firestorm.
Sorry, Pierce, but to get up there and perform the whole show in Spanish is a middle finger to the rest of America. Who gives a damn that we have 40 million Spanish speakers in the United States?
Then President Donald J. Trump posted on Truth Social, called the performance terrible, and then said it didn't represent American greatness.
Now, I have a question. Isn't Puerto Rico part of America? It's one of our territories.
Yes. Yes, ma'am, it
So
is.
technically, it's part of America.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
how are they going to say it's not American when technically we
Well,
own Puerto Rico?
because the entire show was in Spanish. That's
I
the
know,
rub.
I know, but I just,
I
for all
I
the
know. Well,
people,
wait, because there's going to be some other stupid statements. So go ahead.
yeah, yeah, I just
Yeah.
wanted to add,
Uh-huh.
we own Puerto Rico. They can travel to and from America without needing a passport, the mainland. They pay taxes to us. You
Yes.
know, they have a representative. We don't
Yes.
control them, but yeah. So for everyone who
Uh-huh.
forgets, we actually own Puerto Rico. It's part of America. And for Trump to
Yeah.
say it's un-American, I have to laugh.
U.S. Virgin
Well, I
Islands.
think his point was the show was un-American.
Yeah, but
When you see the
for those
people
who are like
walking,
me and read it differently.
yeah, I will go ahead and we'll listen to the arguments that are made.
Yes, because there are some good arguments on both sides.
Yeah.
I actually have to
Right.
say that.
Right.
That alone was explosive. But then what happened next? That is what changed everything. Stephen A. Smith, he went head to head with the panel of The View on ABC, including Anna Navarro, Sonny Hostin, and Whoopi Goldberg, and he didn't back down. In fact, he said it rather simple. Millions didn't understand a word. And that's when the temperature shot up, because suddenly this wasn't about one halftime show. It became about language.
This is the
about
Stephen A.
identity,
Smith
and
that
about
doesn't like
whether the
Trump.
Super Bowl is still a unifying American event, or maybe it's something else now. And then when The View brushed off those concerns, Stephen A. Smith didn't retreat. He erupted. And what we're seeing right now isn't just entertainment drama. It's a deeper fight over what the United States is becoming and who gets told to just sit down and accept it. Stick with me, guys. This is going to get heated. This moment here is bigger than halftime. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, and if you enjoy the video by the end, be sure to drop a like on the way out.
You know, it was in Spanish, and I didn't understand any of it. Well, you know what? I'm sorry.
Oh, you know what I just noticed? This is not the video I edited.
Okay.
Let me
That's
see where I'm at.
okay.
131. Well, because no, there's a lot of advertisements and I don't know exactly
Right.
where they're at.
Okay, go ahead.
If people will be just patient with me for one moment. I just realized
Time's up.
this.
Time's up. Time's up.
I said a moment. It actually
How long?
takes me a minute
minute.
to do this.
A
I
minute.
do apologize. I moved the
Okay,
wrong
so-
one.
Okay.
Oh, shit.
La 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 la. Hey, I'm not humming Christmas carols anymore.
Oh, well, that's a good sign.
Yes, it is. And I didn't hum any Sesame Street.
Wait, that's not the right one either. No, this is where I needed to be. Oh, my Lord. Okay,
Something just cracked
let me
wide open.
To the rest of
bounce this forward to where we were. Okay, we'll pick up right here. I do
Okay.
apologize, folks. I was on top of things, believe it or not. I was, and now we're back. Okay, I apologize. I really absolutely forgot. That was the unedited one. That would have taken a lot longer and had all the advertisements, all that shit. So here we go.
Navarro, Sonny Hostin, and Whoopi Goldberg, and he didn't back down. In fact, he said it rather simple. Millions didn't understand a word. And that's when the temperature shot up, because suddenly this wasn't about one halftime show. It became about language, about identity, and about whether the Super Bowl is still a unifying American event, or maybe it's something else now. And then when
Okay, the Super Bowl is unifying. You have teams that absolutely can't stand each other and get into fights out in the parking lot and stuff. Like, they're literally playing against each other, but okay. Just gonna, yeah. I find that amusing. It's literally a sport of rivalries,
It is.
but
It is.
it's
it
supposed to be
brings-
unifying rivalries.
Yes, but it brought together 100 million people in total.
Yeah, and at
I
least it's
think
not like the NHL where the NHL where there's
Yeah,
usually a couple fist
right.
fights.
Exactly.
So,
You know, but if they're drinking, there's usually some fights.
oh yes, almost always. And then I hear that Los Angeles loves to burn its city down after every special event like this. So you know,
Right.
there's that too. Okay.
When The View brushed off those concerns, Stephen A. Smith didn't retreat. He erupted. And what we're seeing right now isn't just entertainment drama. It's a deeper fight over what the United States is becoming and who gets told to just sit down and accept it.
You know, it was in Spanish, and I didn't understand any of it. Well, you know what? I'm sorry. Everybody was down with the Macarena when it came out, and they were all on the Carnival cruises, and they were.
I gotta point out she's right about that. Do you remember the Macarena back in the early
yeah,
90s?
I do. You know what I don't appreciate is her tone.
Yeah,
She does not speak like that in her normal voice.
I know.
And so right off the bat, she's starting with an well.
She copped an attitude.
Yes, she copped an attitude. And I'd like to smack her for it.
If people actually understood the lyrics of Macarena, they would not have been letting their kids dance to it and sing along.
Right.
It was highly inappropriate. That would have been my first call out. If you don't understand what you're singing, you got a
Don't
problem.
sing it. Exactly.
Get the translation before you go and sing it, because that song had, yes, a wonderful catchy beat, but those lyrics, oh buddy. But yeah, just again, but the thing is, the Macarena wasn't done during a halftime show either. I don't recall it ever being a Super Bowl halftime show.
Mm,
Do
I
you?
don't know. I'm not positive. We have to
I
look
know
it
they
up.
had other Latino people like J Lo, Ricky Martin,
Right.
but
Shakira.
the
Yeah.
shows were always done in English or both.
th-
They did
They
a
were
split
in both.
language.
Yeah, they were always in both. This is the first time it's been all Spanish. And
Blue Rose
go
says
ahead.
Google Translate. Google is not always accurate, by the way. I have discovered that while trying to learn Spanish. Google is not always accurate. Hi, Brent.
Hey, Brent.
Yeah, Google Translate is not a good option. Just gonna
Right.
put that out there. But yeah, Macarena, if you're really curious, go look up the translation for it. Not appropriate.
Doing all of this, and everybody was fine with it.
This is where the fuse lit. On The View, on national television, Stephen A. Smith, he did something that really surprised people. He didn't scream, he didn't insult, he didn't attack. He said something simple. If most people didn't understand the lyrics, that's legitimate. That's it. And suddenly the temperature changed because the panel, including Anna Navarro and Sunny Hostin, framed the backlash as ignorance, as small-minded, as overreaction. Stephen A said no. He reframed it. This isn't about race. This isn't about ethnicity. It's about accessibility. Over 100 million Americans watch the Super Bowl. It is the biggest shared moment of the year. And when millions of viewers say, I didn't understand what I was hearing, that wasn't hatred. It's feedback. Right there, you can feel the fracture open up, not between races, between elites and everyday viewers. And this is why this particular moment went viral, because Stephen A didn't just debate. He validated what millions were already thinking.
If most people don't understand the lyrics because you're speaking it in what they deem to be a foreign language, that is a legitimate point that the president made.
Holy shit. He actually said Trump had a
Uh-huh.
legitimate point.
Yes, he did.
Wow. Check my pulse. Yep.
Are you still breathing?
Well, if you've heard over the years, Stephen A.
Oh,
Smith
I
very
know.
critical of Trump
I
and
know.
downright irrational about it at times.
Yep.
Like, wow. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So, got to give props. He's at least giving, honest
A little
review as he's
yeah,
going.
right. A little bit like the Young Turks.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They
Everybody's
every
having
once
a
in a blue
little.
moon.
Yep.
Oh God. It makes you wonder if hell's frozen over. Maybe that's why we're so
Uh,
cold.
I think so. I was just gonna say, yeah. Uh-huh.
All right. Let me hit play. Cuz yeah.
That doesn't mean they had a problem with it. I'm just saying his statement that most people didn't understand anything he was saying. There's millions upon millions of Americans that would have wanted to hear something in English other than Lady Gaga. That is true. And me personally, been nice to see J Lo out there. Been nice to see Shakira out there. Been nice to see a few people celebrating their Hispanic heritage, no doubt. But it also would have been nice if some of the songs were in English. That's all. The president.
Brent, I want to pause cuz Brent brought up a really great point. They could have at least put the lyrics on a screen.
Yeah, there's more as this goes on. So there was no subtitles or anything that were available. And when you saw all the videos of people, they were just standing there looking. There were a couple people that were in the audience that might have been participating, but for the most part, people were uh, they walked out. I mean, the show that Turning Point USA did brought in a huge amount of people. I want to say it was 65-35. It could have been more than that. percentage wise. I mean, they just blew the football league out of the water
Yeah.
at with the halftime event.
Well, and again, it's not Kid Rock's first time doing the halftime show for the NFL and Super Bowl type thing.
No, but it was, and as you'll hear in the comments, this
Mhm.
year is our 250th. Well, I almost said wedding anniversary. Oh, Lord help me.
I
It's our
would hope
200.
not.
Yeah, that's a long ass time. 250-year birthday
For the nation.
celebration, and they could have, something should have been done, I believe, on that order. To
Oh,
show pride in America and to show the world the pride that Americans have in the country.
and see, like, I don't see anything wrong with that, but right now our country is so heavily divided because of the
And that's
stupidity. I
right,
don't
and that's
see
where,
how that was going to play out because you're still going to have half people pissed off, half people happy, no, whichever
well,
way you look at it.
the majority, again, if we're going to talk about who or what we're going to look at, and Stephen
Hmm.
A. Smith is suggesting, is it majority or is it the minority? Is it the squeaky
Yeah.
wheel, just like it's the majority, it's the minority of trans that we all had to change up and have special, everything when they're
Hmm.
actually in the minority. So the fact that the majority of people didn't understand the halftime event, the fact that the majority went to Turning Point to get that patriotic
But I will
pull.
also tell you when they even back when they announced that Bad Bunny was going to be doing the halftime show,
Oh, there was,
people were already going into it
yes,
angry.
yes. Within it. Well, you know why? Because he went on Saturday Night Live and basically said, I'm not doing the show in English, and you guys have 4 months to learn my language.
Yeah, that's not exactly cool. That's not nice, and that should have been held against him.
Well,
I would
but
not have promoted that. I don't watch the Super Bowl, so I really don't have skin in the
neither do I.
game.
You know what? I quit watching when Kaepernick took the knee and my team started
Oh,
taking the knee as well. I've not watched a football game since.
I quit
I refuse.
watching about 6 years ago when my blood pressure skyrocketed and when the Lions absolutely fumbled. The worst thing on a Thanksgiving Day game, and the jackasses just couldn't do it right, and they ended up losing.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was the last time I watched because I was
yeah. I
angry.
mean, I'm done. I'm not making myself upset or myself sick over it. So
Yeah.
if there's something special, that a commercial that somebody will say to watch or a play or whatever, maybe, but not like we used to. We used to get together and have parties and, go to people's houses on the weekend. No, not anymore. I'm
Art,
over it.
Art's got a funny. He says you could describe it as our 250th anniversary of the divorce when
There
we
you go.
divorced from
Oh, I like
England.
that. There you go. Instead of the wedding anniversary, I like that.
250 years single.
Yep, there you
All
go.
right.
Yeah, I like it. I like it.
All right. Let's pop back into the video before we get sidetracked and start going on divorce stories and stuff. We'll save everyone that one. But yeah, let me hit play.
Is speaking on behalf or was speaking on behalf of tens of millions of Americans who are like, I didn't understand a word he was saying because I don't know Spanish. That is a valid point.
And so now the story explodes beyond daytime television because President Donald J. Trump, the sitting president of the United States, as of February 2026, steps in. Now, on Truth Social, he calls the halftime show terrible. He says it didn't reflect American greatness. He criticizes the NFL. He even mentions strong stock markets and 401ks tying culture to national success. This is not random. This is a signal. So when a president comments on the Super Bowl, this is no longer just about music. This becomes about direction. Trump's point wasn't technical, it was symbolic. He framed the performance as out of sync with what he sees as American excellence. Supporters heard, this doesn't represent us. Critics heard, this is cultural intolerance. Two very different reactions. And that split, this is about more than entertainment. This is about feeling blindsided, okay? Bad Bunny, one of the biggest global artists on the planet, takes the stage.
You know, I've not heard of him until he was announced for doing the halftime show. I've not
I
even heard
heard,
any of his
yeah,
music.
yeah, I've heard of him, and he doesn't float my boat.
Art says Happy Insurrection Day. That's cute. Um, yeah, I've never heard of him, and like I tend to keep up with quite a bit of. Well, I really kind of don't agree with a lot of music that's out there right now. I'm having an issue with some of it.
Yeah,
People just it's not the talent.
right,
They're not talented anymore, or they're not
right.
utilizing their talents in a way that absolutely makes sense.
No, I think
Um,
that Hollywood is making us, stars. I don't think it's the
well,
talent
he
is
might
out
have
there.
actual talent. In his lyric, like I have said, people have talent with their beats, but their lyrics suck. We need
Hmm.
lyricists back.
Right.
Brent said, "I thought he was a girl until last month."
Well, yeah, he wears dresses and everything, so that would be,
Oh,
another reason why I don't care for him.
yeah, definitely. I'm gonna have to listen to some of his stuff. Because from my like I've been hearing good and bad about his music. I might have to just listen to it and kind of get a feel. And like again, I'm not here to criticize his music or anything. I'm here just to kind of input on why this language barrier is an issue. I think that's more the what this is about. Whether his performance was good or bad is not up for grabs, is it? On this. Nope. See?
Oh, you know what time it is. It's time for the dog to come to the dance floor. Oh,
Okay. Take a second to holler.
I already did. That's why you had to say D, because I
Oh,
already made the holler, but he didn't leave yet, so go figure. Oh, help me. Please help me.
uh, I'm used to like we're used to it, and we're all good. We don't complain. We don't, and you don't have
It
to
just
mute.
cracks me. I know, it just cracks me. Yeah, but I got to holler so loud for him to hear me. I mean, I am 4 rooms away, but still. I only called and then he doesn't listen to leave. I'm telling him go see daddy and he's looking at me like, "Well, bitch, you didn't holler yet, you know?"
You gotta
Oh,
tell
help
him
me.
I'm coming
I
to
know.
take me out, otherwise I can't go.
I
Yes.
know. Oh,
Uh-huh.
yep.
Kind of like negotiating with my family who does which dishes. Well, I only want to do these. Well, tell your sister. No, you tell her what ones I want to do. Just you know what? Go do which ones you
Oh,
want to do and leave the rest for the other, or what vice versa. Just yep.
mhm.
Pets do train us, even
Yes,
though
they
we
do.
don't realize it.
Right.
And Chase has you trained that you have to announce he has to go out in order for him
Right.
to go and do his
He's
business.
in Yeah, cuz he's in the same room with them. But he
Hmm.
comes all the way in here to tell me he's got to
Uh
go
huh.
out.
Yep.
Yep.
Makes perfect sense to him.
Oh, I'm telling you. It's too funny.
All right. But I was asking, no one's critiquing how the performance went really in this video. It's just about the language
Uh,
use.
well, there are videos out there critiquing how bad it is. I saw the one video where they claim that the plants were sugarcane and they had somebody on there going, "Hey, mom, guess what I was at the halftime Super Bowl game? I was a plant." And I mean, you didn't even see their face, and you just saw these plants like running out to the field, and it was just, to me, it wasn't a show. I mean, I'm used to seeing, like a J Lo, like a Bruno Mars, Shakira, Ricky. I mean, any of them. This was just him running around in these fields. I didn't get it. I thought perhaps maybe
Um,
ice. ice was chasing them. I don't know.
Well, Brent
I don't
just put a
know.
translation of the chorus. It says, "Hey,
Yeah,
Auntie asked me if I have a lot of girlfriends. A lot of girlfriends today. I have one tomorrow. I'll have another. Hey, but there's no wedding."
yeah, that's just
So
one
basically,
song.
he's a player. He wants to be a
Well,
player for life, and that's why women play the men back, and then society ends up fucked up the way it is.
well, that's not the really bad lyrics. So there's one that's way worse.
Like I said,
Yeah,
I
I
can
didn't.
love the beats, but demand a better lyricist.
Yeah, I didn't pull any of that because I did not want to get into. Because we all have our own opinion. We have our own taste in music, right? So, what you find, I mean, you and I are on total opposites, right? So, we share mutual things, but we both have our likes and dislikes. So, I didn't want to look at it from the musical or the lyrics. This has to do with the direction that the country is going in.
Yeah.
And as we get through this, we'll talk because you and I have talked about it and we've talked about it on the show,
Uh
and
huh.
you're going to hear Sunny Hostin bring up what's going to happen to the country.
Yep. We're gonna see how this goes.
Uh-huh.
All right. Let me hit play so we can get back on track. But Art also wanted to add that his dog learned it was time to eat because Judge Judy was starting. So he must have
No
gotten up
way.
every single time that Judge Judy came on to feed the dog, and that trains the
Oh,
dog.
you're kidding. That's
He
funny.
he put it in the comments. I don't know if you can see it over here in the lower corner.
I took my yeah, I can. I took my glasses off though because I'm dead. So you're
Okay.
talking to you're talking to a corpse, but I will
Hey,
look at it.
you might be an animated corpse, but I can also be a zombie or I could be a vampire. I'm like
There you
eternal.
go.
But we did establish on my server that I'm a bot, so there's that
Correct.
too.
That's true. I heard that story. Yep. Hmm.
All right, let me hit play so we can get to the topic and figure it out from there.
Stage at the NFL's Super Bowl halftime show. Massive production, huge crowd, over 100 million people watching across the United States. And the performance? The performance was largely in Spanish. No subtitles, no translation on screen, no pause.
I think what's so interesting to me is, this country seems to be one of the only countries in the world that is so proud of being monolingual. And
Evidently, she has not been to Japan or China or Russia
Mm,
or North Korea. Did
there
oh,
you
I
go.
forgot to send you that North Korea post. The dictator of North Korea has been eliminating children and even adults for listening to media from other countries, and that includes K-pop stuff from South Korea.
Wow.
Uh huh. It's bad.
Yeah,
It's gotten bad.
I guess Trump being in the demilitarized zone didn't help. Maybe he'll have to go back.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
All I know is no, we're not monolingual. There are a lot of languages spoken in America. A lot.
Well,
And up
right.
until recently, there was no national language, and actually, that has even been through Congress yet to be put into act. But we have a lot of languages that are spoken, but we also have a common language that
That
everyone
is correct.
speaks. Not everybody
Correct.
speaks Italian. Not everybody speaks Mandarin. How would she feel if it was in Mandarin? Would she be saying the same thing?
I don't know, but I'm pausing. I'll be right back.
Okay. So I'm truly curious because, again, even in Russia, like okay, Italy does have a lot of languages spoken there, but they have what's called a common language, a national language, where it is spoken everywhere, so everyone understands each other. Like the dialects of India, like you have to know like 5 or 10 spoken languages in India, just in India, to live there. You have to be able to speak these different dialects,
Well, and it's
and
the same in the United States, right?
yes.
You go in the deep south, I
Mhm.
mean, I've been all over the country.
Mhm.
I told you the story about being at a conference. and we're on a packed bus on the way back to the hotels, and they would drop you off at the different things at your
Yeah.
different stop, and I'm on the bus and we're jibber jabbering away, and something was going on, and everybody's bitching up a storm. And the next thing you know, the bus is quiet as could be. And I'm like, what the hell's going on? And they're like, D, what's a jag off? D, keep talking. I'm like, what? I'm like, they're like, oh my God, your accent. And I'm like, what accent? What are you? You're the guys that have the accent. You're the one that's talking funny. You're talking weird. Like, or
Mhm.
go down into Louisiana. We went down
That's
in the
really deep
bayous.
south.
Yeah, we went back into the bayous on these boats with these freaking alligators,
Oh,
up
and then
ready to
you
pop.
get your Creole and
Yeah,
French spoken
right. Yeah,
Cajun combo
right.
language.
Yeah. And I think he's saying, keep your hands in the boat, and you're like, what, huh? What, huh? Yeah.
Mhm.
So
And
it's
so it's
not
kind of
English.
not, it's a very bad misrepresentation to call us monolingual.
Yes, it is. But that's sunny for you.
And everyone here has the choice to learn other languages. It's not forced
Yes.
upon us.
Well, it
And
is in school, but
well, well, no, actually, you can
yeah,
get out of the
it's a
foreign
requirement.
language by doing something else. I think it's a cultural studies class instead. Um,
Yeah, ours they start in 5th grade, where
mhm.
each quarter you have to take a different language, and then when you get to 6th or 7th grade, I can't remember, then they have to take 2 years
Yeah.
worth of a language. Yep.
I went to a private school for kindergarten and first grade.
Yeah.
And they were teaching Spanish right off at
Right.
school, and then Sesame Street teaches Spanish. A
Right.
lot of us have been exposed to a lot of Spanish words, and we know phrases here and there. Most of us
Right.
do, but
Right.
not enough are fluent to say that Spanish is a second language of America. It's just the second
Well,
most common language right now.
it is the right. But I told you, statistically, when I was working on my graduate degree, that
Hmm.
they had anticipated between 2050 and 2060 that the country is going to switch predominantly to be Hispanic. So right now it's white, black, Hispanic, and Asian, and it's going to flip, and whites will become the minority, ultimately absorbed into all of the other cultures so that there will be no whites. But the expectation is that Spanish will become the prominent language
Hmm.
of the country. So she's
Brent
not.
was saying he
Go
took
ahead.
2 years of German in school, and
Right?
he can't speak it other than introducing himself and saying good afternoon.
Sprechen Sie Deutsch?
I was going to say guten Tag.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Ich haben die.
I
I
don't.
should know a little
Oh, my
bit.
Polish. Oh, I can't speak my Polish. Never mind.
Yeah.
That'll get us kicked off. Um,
Okay.
because it's the only
All right.
phrase I know. in,
All right.
in
Keep
Polish
going.
will get us in trouble.
Okay. Keep going.
But I'm just saying, we do use a lot of other languages. She's very
Yes.
muchly misrepresenting America by
Right.
saying we're
And
monolingual.
and especially for them being based out of New York City, right?
Uh
I
huh.
mean, you talk about the hodgepodge of languages and cultures that mesh. Um,
Yeah.
what other cities, they're out there, San Francisco and LA and places like that, but New York is really has a condensed population that speaks, as you said, multiple languages.
Hmm. I'm one. Like I said, I've taken Spanish, worked with migrant workers, which even honed my Spanish better. Watching Cheech and Chong definitely helped too. I took French for 2 years in high school as well. Then I took Mandarin Chinese in college. I picked up a bit of Swedish out of boredom when I first got and couldn't work anymore. I mean, I've been doing language type stuff for years. And my voice just squeaked there. I don't know where that came from. But I've
Like
been
your
learning
mouth.
languages for the fun of it. Not out of
Right.
requirement, not out of necessity, not out of a government mandate. Some of us are just good at languages. And it turns out
Right.
Swedish is actually very similar to German. So
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of fun in that too. And there's written Japanese isn't too far off from certain writing in Mandarin, or is it Cantonese? I think Cantonese is closer to Japanese than Mandarin is. But the writing is the same, even though it's pronounced differently and spoken differently. So, and then you want to take in Korean. Try reading Korean. I struggle to
Right.
read Korean. I can speak it. I can understand when it's spoken to me to a degree. It's mostly martial art commands. But have you ever seen it written? It is what?
Yes.
Those look like symbols on an alien starcraft, and I'm supposed to accept it as a language. Got it.
Oh, it's no different than the Egyptian high. Yeah.
Hieroglyphics and the
Thank you.
Arabic
Right.
writing, yes.
Yeah.
It all looks foreign until you get into a Romanized version of the language, not
Right.
the calligraphy version of it. And so, yeah, and again, I say this as she's really misrepresenting what people are meaning by this.
Right.
It's not that we don't speak other languages. Not everybody speaks Spanish as a second language or a primary language, is what they're
Right.
trying to say. There are people who are probably from Germany watching the Super Bowl wondering what the hell's going on. What, are they bad because they
Exactly.
didn't learn Spanish too?
Right.
But they already speak English and German. You
Right.
know, I got a bone to pick with
Well,
her about this, so.
right.
And I'm going to shut up
Um,
because we really need to get going. Otherwise, we're not going to get through half the stuff we have up. I'm sorry.
go ahead.
and not being able to communicate in more than one language. And the fact of the matter is, in about 20 years, multi-ethnic people will be the majority in this country. So if you don't understand
I'm
Spanish,
multi-ethnic.
maybe
I've been here
take
for a
a
while.
Duolingo
Bite
course
me.
and flirt.
Now, this is not
Oh,
all
Could you
hold
because
up, hold up,
Spanish
you
is good.
hold up.
back up and listen to what she said?
I heard what she said. Take a little Duolingo course. By the way, Duolingo is a terrible teacher. I was not thrilled with Duolingo and actually quit using it. And just started watching videos and broadcasts in Spanish to pick up what I
Right.
need to learn. Duolingo absolutely made me laugh, but it was not good at teaching. So
Mm-hmm.
there's that. And that is disrespectful to all of those of us who actually put in even more time not using Duolingo, but taking legitimate courses and stuff on these languages, working with
Right.
tutors, working with people who speak the language natively. Like, screw her. She can kiss my ass. Sorry.
You're fine.
I heard that Duolingo comment. They brought me pancakes with a fork and the plastic fork just broke. Really? One moment. I need a new fork. Let me hit play.
And let the
Let me
dog
hit
out
play.
too.
Is good or bad. It's not about talent. It's not about heritage. It's about the moment. The Super Bowl is marketed as a unifying American event, a shared cultural experience. And when millions of viewers at home say, I don't understand what he's saying, this creates friction. Now, Stephen A's argument is simple. If the biggest television event in America is happening, should the majority of viewers understand it? That's his question. Now, that's not hostility. That's expectation. And the second you dismiss that question as ignorance, you start to lose people. That's where this turn from performance to cultural flashpoint. Because now it's not just about music, it's about whether common ground still matters. So now enter Anna Navarro on The View. Her defense of Bad Bunny was emotional. She talks about his journey from bagging groceries in San Juan, Puerto Rico, which I actually used to bag groceries in
I
New
used
York
to bag
City,
groceries
to
too.
uploading music on YouTube, to performing on the biggest stage in America. That is a powerful story.
Maybe the
have a
reason
fork
that
that's
Trump
not
doesn't
broken.
like Bad Bunny is because Bad Bunny, unlike him, isn't a Nepo trust fund baby.
Yeah.
Just 10 years ago, this is amazing to me. Just 10 years ago, Benito Martinez Ocasio, Bad Bunny, was bagging groceries at a supermarket in San Juan. And
Okay,
and
good for
uploading
him.
his music to YouTube. And 10 years later, here
Living the
he is
American
at
dream.
the biggest stage in the world.
Yeah.
And one of the things he said in the concert was, in the halftime show, was that the reason he was there is because he had belief in himself.
Mm-hmm.
And he urged the rest of us to believe in ourselves.
Sounds like Eminem. Sounds like how Kid
Yep.
Rock started off. Sounds like how 50 Cent started off. Sounds like how Jay-Z started off. I mean, come on. Really? He's does not have a super special story. We've all started at the bottom, and we choose how high we go. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I didn't say anything. Go ahead.
Oh, but yeah, I mean, you didn't start off with money in hand, did you, Dee? You weren't born on
No,
given a silver platter.
shit.
Yeah, I wasn't either. I had to pull weeds and rocks out of fields, pick things, bag groceries, work at McDonald's. I've done all kinds of jobs paying the bills. We've all
Yep.
been there. We choose to go further, or we choose to stagnate at the bottom.
Yep.
Sounds like a lot of Americans. Very American dream of him. Sorry.
Yes. Well, and he is. Well, go ahead. Let her play a little bit more,
Okay.
and then we'll go.
Just sorry, I'm eating a pancake. Just say pause or stop when you want me to stop it.
Okay. Yep.
I'll let you we'll chime in with that at that point. Ugh.
In fact, that sounds like the American dream to me. Hard work, belief, gratitude, that's definitely what's up. And then she says that he thanked the Latino community. She says that he delivered for them. Now, here's where the tension creeps in. Stephen A's response isn't to deny the story. It's to ask if the message was inspirational, if he was telling people to believe in themselves, but most viewers didn't understand it, did the moment connect? That's not disrespect. That's a communication question. And this is where you see the split widen. One side says,
Yeah,
Hold on.
crazy
the
D
culture.
stuff there.
Pause
And
it.
that's my point. Is I think that he could have said to the Latino
Mm-hmm.
group that, thank you for believing in me, thank you for your support, but then he should have added the rest of the country in.
Mhm.
By him separating this out, he was the one that created the tension and identity politics and potential racial components along with everything that he had to say. He's an American with
Mm-hmm.
a Puerto Rican heritage, just like,
Well, he was living
I
he
have.
was born and raised in Puerto Rico, still lives in Puerto Rico is what I understand. But
Correct.
Puerto Rico is part of
And
America,
that is
so
still, as you said earlier, I
it's part of
believe
America.
exactly. And we all hail from somewhere, all of, my background,
Mm-hmm.
my city's background. I told you there's, this population. Here's German, here's Italian, here's Jewish, here's, everybody got their own little corner of the city,
Mm-hmm.
so to speak. And so if the intent, and it is the American Football League, the National Football League, it is not the global, it is not the Puerto Rican Football League. When you have over 100 million people watching this, and, as Megan Kelly said, there's 330 million Americans, 40 million of them are of Hispanic descent.
Mm-hmm.
What are we going to do as a country as we move forward? And I think this also blends into the shit that's gone down in the Olympics,
Yeah.
right? With the negativity that Americans who are supposed to be representing the country, and
Mm-hmm.
they're bad mouthing in Milan how bad the United States is, how bad the president is, how bad ICE is. You know
Oh,
what?
you
If
know
you
what? Instead
can't,
of letting them back, send them to Iran, send them to China, send
yeah,
them to North Korea. Let them spend some time there, and then they can tell
I
us how
want to
bad
see
it
them.
is.
Yeah, I want to see them stripped of being able to go there. Your job in the Olympics is to represent the United States. It's not for you to have a political or any other type of platform. You want a platform when you retire, then you go do your platform.
Mm-hmm.
That's bullcrap. You should be
Yeah.
up there. You're proud to be an American.
You're not an activist, you're an American. There's a
That's
difference.
correct. Right. And that's how I feel about And again, yes, there's rivalries on the field, but the idea of the game is to bring everybody into the fold of football.
Watching and enjoying together.
Correct.
Yeah.
Screaming, carrying on. Yes,
I
people
used
are
to love the
disappointed.
commercials. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
yeah,
The Super Bowl commercials were the only thing I actually cared about for a
yeah.
long time.
I mean, do you remember the hype for commercials? It would start, weeks before, and you'd
They would
see,
hint
the
at them.
Clydesdale. Yeah, you'd see the Clydesdale for Budweiser.
Yep.
I mean, all the car commercials. And now it's all gone. It's all woke. It's all
Mhm.
gone by the wayside of some type of statement is being made.
Actually, the
We
Ring
just,
commercial set
yes,
everybody off because wait, you're gonna turn on my Ring camera because somebody's dog went missing and you're gonna spy
yeah,
from my camera? Hell no.
for the dog, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we just showed Katanji the other day at the Grammys,
Yep.
standing up clapping for ICE. I mean, what?
Anti-ice, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I quit watching all of those shows. I couldn't tell you who's done what, where, when, and why, and who really gives a crap.
Yeah, that's me.
There's no reason to tune into this. Who wants to be lectured by some rich actor, singers, whatever?
Person who has
Yeah,
never seemed to actually lived the life we struggle with
right.
because they or they forgot where they come from. Like,
Exactly.
yeah, you did. Wait a minute. You want to sit there and talk about Trump being a nepo baby and stuff? Trump's dad didn't just give him money. Trump actually had to work for it.
Yes, he did.
We talked
And
about this
that's not
before.
yeah, that's not stated. And I told you this morning when we talked, I I have been on Facebook so almost non-existent anymore. And
Mm-hmm.
something came by and I'm like, "Oh, I better go check this out." And I saw that I had 71 notifications and I'm like, "Oh, shit."
You should see how
So
many I have.
I said, let me just take a quick look. So I saw one and it said ICE was at one of our local supermarkets near a Home Depot.
Uh huh.
I couldn't help myself. I think in a matter of 3 minutes, I had 10 notifications from people. I don't really care. I wrote in the comments, I'm like, you know what? Anybody that doesn't stick up for them, you're not an American citizen. Why don't you just get out of the country? And then I said, better yet, why don't you take some of these people in? Why don't you pay for some of these people? So now I'm going to wait till tomorrow when I go back and see just how bad I have to do cleanup because I want to know are where are you what's your position on senior citizens, Vietnam vets, the whole list that I go
Mm-hmm.
down. What about the people that, these illegals have, unalived people or done, assaulted them? I mean, I don't know. It's
It's bad.
craziness. We somehow, and I don't know the answer on how to bring us back together as a group. You're never going to appease everybody.
You can't please everybody, but you got to try to, do what's right.
Right, right. And so, what is that answer? And we keep asking, show us examples of the right doing what the left is doing. And we're not seeing it. Are there radicals? Yes. But we're not seeing the same things from the left that are occurring on the right.
Mm-hmm.
They're not proportional. They're just not. Now the other thing about the Super Bowl issue was that Jay-Z has been in charge of doing the last several Super Bowls and that he's out there just as much as everybody else. Goodell wants to take the Super Bowl to be a global thing like soccer is. I don't see that happening. I don't know.
Uh,
Maybe
I don't think it'll
I
be a good idea.
I don't I don't think it would be. I don't know how he would expect that to work. Unless there was like
Magic.
some type of traveling league, I don't know. But it was something. I think it was a missed opportunity for all of them. Anybody that has a big event in 2026 for our 250th divorce
Mm-hmm.
celebration, they could have made it. They could have maybe pulled people together.
Yeah,
I think they missed.
major missed opportunity.
Yes. So I hope going forward that people pay attention to this, but we'll see. So
Well,
these
fingers
black dogs
crossed.
still, yeah, go ahead, listen to more what they have to say.
Alrighty.
But the other side says celebrate it, but bring everyone in. And once that difference hardens, the debate stops being about Bad Bunny and it becomes more about what kind of country that we're building. So this is where it stops being about music altogether. On The View, Sunny Hostin makes a bigger claim. She says in about 20 years, multiracial Americans will be the majority in the United States. And then she says something that really lands. If you don't understand Spanish, maybe start using Duolingo. Now, pause, okay? Because some people heard that and thought, well, that's fair. America is diverse, but others heard something very different. They heard adapt, catch up, this is the future.
Sorry, Pierce, but to get up there and perform the whole show in Spanish is a middle finger to the rest of America. Who gives a damn that we have 40 million Spanish speakers in the United States? We have 310 million who don't speak a lick of Spanish. This is supposed to be a unifying event for the country, not for the Latinos, not for one small group, but for the country. We don't need a black national anthem. We don't need a Spanish speaking, non-English performer, and we don't need an ICE or America hater featured as our primetime entertainment.
Okay, what is the national language, officially, the national language of the United States of America?
I mean, English. And there's been a push for many years to make it an official,
you don't have one.
Documented thing.
You don't have one.
Yes, we do.
Well,
we do.
It's still not been processed by Congress to be
doesn't
ratified for
matter.
long term, but it is by
Doesn't
executive
matter.
order.
That's correct.
I know.
Trump made an executive order last year. So as of last year in March, English is the national language.
Mm-hmm. And technically, we do have that national language then. And again, this is where I always said it before. We don't have a national language. You can't tell them speak English. That doesn't work.
Right.
And now I can't use that as a defense anymore.
Okay, so but there's some other points that are made that I don't. Let's listen, because I think it kind of makes some sense as we go forward, and then we can talk about it.
Okay.
If you would have let me finish my comment, I would have pointed that out. That people have been pushing to make it official.
Okay, so you're trying to make official.
This attitude that you have right here is why you in Great Britain have lost your culture. You ceded your culture to a bunch of radical Muslims who came in and took over, and now it's gone. We're not allowing that here. Whether it's Hispanic, whether it's Muslim, it's not happening in the United States of America. That's why President Trump was elected. And whether it's Bad Bunny, who is American but refuses to speak English in his performances, or anybody else, we have to keep the Super Bowl, which is a quintessential American event. Football, that kind of football, is ours. They call it American football. And the halftime show and everything around it needs to stay quintessentially American.
And so that's kind of where this gets emotional, because the question becomes, should the audience adapt to the halftime show, or should the halftime show adapt to the audience? That's not a small debate. It's more of a direction debate. Stephen A. doesn't mock her, he doesn't insult her, but he refuses to accept the idea that confusion equals ignorance. And that's where viewers felt seen. So then comes Whoopi Goldberg. She says critics of the show are loud, but not large. She implies that they aren't the majority. Now, think about how that lands. If you're one of the millions who sat there during the Super Bowl and thought to yourself, I don't understand this, and then you hear on national television, you're not the majority, you're just loud, that stings. Because now it feels dismissive. It feels like your reaction doesn't count. And that's the moment that stops being about lyrics and it becomes more about respect. This is where populist energy kicks in.
But I want to point out that we hear the 1% of the left movement, the liberals, losing their mind and getting themselves hurt by boycotting ICE. We say they're loud, but not large. They're not a large population of the 1%. And the 1% of the radical right is loud, but not a representation of all of us.
Right.
So for her to say that kind of is bogus because, again, we know most of America speaks English. Like 99%, well, not quite. I'd say like 97% of Americans at least speak some English, mostly English.
And see, and that's so what. So there's going to be some further examples down the line that I let them talk. I don't want to give it away because I think that it's going to make some sense. And I also want everybody to keep in mind, if you recall, all of the controversy surrounding the Black national anthem as well. When that all hit, when it's played, is it played before, the national anthem? So I keep those in mind as this continues.
Yeah. But I do like to point out that sometimes the loudest are not the representation of all of us. So
correct.
We do say that quite frequently here.
Yes.
Not rage, recognition. People don't like being told that they don't matter, do you? And when Stephen A. Smith says calmly but firmly, millions didn't understand a word, he's not attacking culture. He's defending the idea that shared experiences should actually be shared. And this is why this moment detonated online, because it felt bigger than a halftime show. It actually felt like a line being drawn. Now let's talk about the NFL. Let's talk about the Super Bowl. This is not just a concert. This is not Coachella. This is not some niche event. It's American football. They literally call it American football. It is the one night where the entire country, red states, blue states, cities, small towns, sit down together. That's why this matters. Critics of the halftime show, the Super Bowl, is supposed to unify. Supporters say America includes Spanish speakers. Both statements are true. And here's the situation. If something is meant to unify, should the majority of the viewers understand what's happening? That's the pressure point right here. This is not about excluding anyone. This is about whether the biggest shared event in the country should feel shared. And so when the balance feels off, people react. That's not extremism. That's just expectation. And Stephen A. tapped into that instinct. So now we move into something a little bit deeper. The United States does not have an official federal language written into the Constitution. That is also true. But English is the dominant civil language. Courtrooms, Congress, presidential speeches. Imagine something for a moment, right? What if a State of the Union address was delivered entirely in Spanish with no subtitles? Would that create debate? Of course it would. Not because Spanish is wrong, but because
that would create a lot of confusion.
And that's my point. That's my question. What if we're in legal proceedings and it's all in Spanish?
Well,
and I know no Spanish.
Well, my thing is would they fight this hard if it was like in Russian? What if all Americans all of a sudden had to learn Russian?
Exactly. And
when do we draw the line?
Exactly. It doesn't just have to be Spanish. It could be any language.
Yeah, but they're pushing Spanish as the talking point. I don't hear them saying they're going to go and learn Cantonese or Mandarin, which is a very complicated language.
Right. And that has to do with as Sunny said, she said 20 years, right? That puts us at 2046. So we're pretty damn close. She knows the stats of 2050, but they're actually saying by 2030 that we're going to see a flip towards more Hispanic population. And that's just facts.
Well, no, she didn't say. No, she said it would be multi-ethnic. But we're going to have that. But still, the thing that bothers me is
Hispanic.
What the president's going to have to start giving speeches in how many languages now? 120, 180 something.
He's good, or what? We're going to have headsets like they have at the UN, right? Where he speaks English and it converts it all to whatever language we
it was the unspoken rule that English was the language of America. It was an unspoken law.
Well, they messed up by not having something ratified.
And Blue
And
Rose,
why? And again, go
oh, go
ahead.
ahead.
No, go ahead. What were you going to
Well,
say?
Blue Rose made a comment. How many people are actually taking time to learn the language, though? Which language? English, German, French, Italian, Haitian? All these languages are spoken in America, just
Mhm.
not on an official level. The states still have paperwork with multi languages. I mean, yeah,
Oh, you should see. I'll take a screen. I'll do I don't know if I have one handy or not, but I'll get it. When I get information from my insurance company, there is one page of wasted paper every single time. If I want to know who to contact, here it is in multiple languages, front and back. Here's what you do. So the hospital covers every language
uh huh.
that they've encountered. A page front and back is attached to all
I get that too.
benefit
I get the
statements,
whole
all of it.
booklet. It's
Yes.
it's like an instruction manual for setting up a table, but for your
Yes.
medical visit in every
Yep.
language. Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Uh huh.
So it's a hard and what do we do? And we've seen, and take New York City as an example, with the influx of illegals there, right? What do we do with all of those people that speak a foreign language? A lot of them speak English or, you know, different languages, but what happens when they come to this country and they speak no English at all? How do they communicate?
They try to find a common language.
Right.
And like you'll see when people are in Europe and you don't know
Yep.
if the person's a tourist or a natural, you start speaking one language and
Uh-huh.
they'll acknowledge yes, no, or you'll hear people say, do you speak French? Do you speak Italian? Do
You
you
speak,
speak
right.
German? Do you speak Swedish? You will hear these questions until a common language is found. And if there is no common language, you pull out the translator books.
Uh-huh. I was just that or your phone, right? You
Yes.
speak into your phone and here you go. Your telephone translates for you.
Hmm. But again, that's why, but even in Europe, if you're going to be in politics, they insist you speak some kind of English, some
Yes.
degree of English, because of Britain and America and Canada use English. Canada's split between French and English, but they've had a lot of
Right.
the Indian, from India languages moving in. So,
Yes.
I mean, again, like I was even saying back when we were first starting this, if you want to live in India, you better know at least 5 dialects if you want to get
Mm-hmm.
anywhere and survive
Right.
and hold a job, anything. You grow up learning these dialects. And it's like, no, that doesn't mean they're smarter than us or anything. It's just they don't have a unifying language for the entire country.
Mm-hmm.
And so they have 150 dialects in their country. It is
Right.
confusing as all hell. But you have to know that many dialects because, oh, I need a ride, but the taxi driver doesn't speak any of the five I speak. He speaks these other five, and I don't know them. Like,
Right.
it's bad. So, again, I have nothing wrong with learning other languages. I have no issue with people electively doing it. I have an issue when it becomes forced upon us. And again, English has been the predominant language of America. I get that. All of our formal government official stuff should be done in English. I absolutely agree people moving here should learn English. At least the basics. We're not asking you to become fluent overnight, but, get to know the basics. And that way you can find out where things are at, get help, ask for things. People can give you instructions and you can get the gist of it. It's
Well,
like,
we have Vanilla bringing up about Florida making their driver's tests in English.
a lot of
And we
states are
know
doing that.
that, right, in the beginning of Sean Duffy, the Transportation Department Secretary, remember that huge
Yeah.
bust that came out that they found the truck drivers, that a large portion of them, foreign truck drivers, didn't know what the road signs were.
Yeah.
They didn't so basic, being able to drive on American highway to go from, east to west, west to east, north to south, and vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
By not knowing road signage, we've seen how many trucker accidents occur.
Actually, we have one that, well, we probably won't get to today, but I'm hoping we'll get to is that truck driver that hit that
Right.
Amish person, the family.
Yes.
So,
Yep.
yeah, there's a lot going on with why we need English nationally. Now, again,
Or
go ahead.
some type of or a a language that is determined to be appropriate for the country.
Well, and
Everybody's
that's
got to
where English has always been the unofficial language of America.
right.
It's always people
Right.
came here and had to learn English. Back
Yes.
before all of this nonsense with Biden, they used to have to put in, well, actually, it was under Obama too, but they had to put in an effort to learn English in order to come
Right.
here and
Yeah,
to
they
get
had to
through.
take that's how they took their
Citizenship test. It was in
citizenship test.
English.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It wasn't in any other language. It was in English.
Right.
So it's like, scratch my head. I mean, like I said, my great grandfather came here not with the clothes on their back and the little bit of money they could fit in their pockets and
Yep.
just worked their way up from there. Didn't know English, but learned it, got it going.
Man.
So again, they're turning it into a bigger issue than it is, in my opinion. Yes, this guy should have put up some kind of English lyrics or at least done some conversational in between songs in English,
That
explaining his music, and then go from there. I would have been just fine.
well, I think the issue that the reason they didn't put the subtitles on was due to the graphic nature of some
Oh,
of
well,
the
then it
lyrics.
shouldn't have been allowed during the halftime if it was so
They
graphic and
actually,
inappropriate.
yes, he's under investigation because if he would have been fined, NBC would have been fined, and the National Football League would have been fined if it would have been spoken in English. And the fact that Puerto Rico is part of America, they're still trying to determine whether or not, just because he said it in Spanish, is he in violation.
Well,
So
if America doesn't have a national language, he should be in violation.
I lost you, Crazy Bee.
Oh, can you hear me? Oh, D? Hello? Oh, I'll be right back. Okay, hopefully you can hear me now. D? Uh-oh. What's going on?
There you go. You're back.
Yeah, I was going to say, wait, hold on. Oh, I'm sharing way more than I should be. Hold on 1 second. Let me fix that for you. No, you needed this screen. There we go. Okay, sorry. I don't know why it suddenly muted me. Did someone send a text or something and it just mutes me?
I don't know.
I have no clue. Either way, Britt was saying it's an attempt for the NFL to broaden their audience, and doing it all in an all Spanish halftime for only about 18% of the population speaks Spanish.
Yeah, and that's what we said earlier. That's Goodell's goal, is to expand the football league out, to become a global organization like soccer is.
Yeah.
So that's his attempt. But we just talked that I don't think that really. How?
I don't. I know that there was talks of Canada getting a football team to play against America because they do have a version of football, but they have an extra 50 yards. I'm sorry, an extra 10 yards on their field than we do in America. Because I've had to do a marching band thing on one of their fields, and oh my god, that really was hard to adapt to with that extra 10 yards. Holy crap, that'll throw you off. But they have a version of a American football that they do play, and there was talks of bringing them into the NFL quite some years ago. I'm talking like late '90s, early 2000, late '90s, because we're talking it had to be '98 or '99 when that was going on. When I went to Canada about that marching band competition, so I don't know if it ever went anywhere. I don't pay attention to football enough to know, but it's
Right.
like kind of like how the NHL has teams in
Right.
Canada and the United States. So I mean, there's that as well. Hmm.
Well, I don't know. I think they need to. Everybody should just, before he tries to take on the world, have your shit together at home first,
I
please.
agree.
You know, it gets to be frustrating, everything that we're talking about. Just like these Olympian, I don't even want to call them Olympians.
They're
They're
not.
low life. They're
They're
low life.
activists who happen to be
Mm-hmm.
athletes.
Mm-hmm. All right, go ahead.
Let me hit play.
Because shared civic moments are usually delivered in the language that most citizens understand. That's the analogy that's being raised. It's not a threat. It's a thought experiment. And thought experiments reveal tension. So, this is where the argument kind of shifts from halftime to cohesion, from entertainment to glue. Language is not just words, it's connection. And when connection feels broken, even for one night, people notice that. And when they notice and then get dismissed, that's when the backlash grows. Now, let's be honest, this debate didn't stay inside the halftime show. The moment language enters the conversation, immigration follows. And this is where the temperature really rises. Because here we are in February 2026. President Donald J. Trump is the sitting president. Border policy was a central issue in his election. And when the conversation turns to cultural direction, people connect the dots. Some viewers say that they saw the halftime show as a celebration. Others saw it as a signal that the culture is shifting, signal that what used to be common ground is becoming fragmented. Now, here's the key distinction. Stephen A. Smith did not frame this as anti-Hispanic or anti-Latino. He did not attack Bad Bunny's heritage. He framed it as a shared experience versus separation. Now, that part matters because once the argument becomes about ethnicity, then the conversation collapses. But when it stays about cohesion, it stays legitimate. So this is why this moment had national energy behind it. It tapped into something that was already simmering. So now, here's where the debate sharpens. This is not the first time Hispanic artists have performed at the Super Bowl.
Bad Bunny has gone on stage from the very beginning when he started getting awards, when he started going to concerts. He always thanked the Latino community that was behind him. And last night, he delivered. Every time he's gotten asked how you feel about the Super Bowl, the word that came out of him was grateful. I got to tell you, when I saw Ricky Martin come out there, and
I mean, we were already seeing Jennifer Lopez perform at previous Super Bowls. We've seen Shakira perform at previous Super Bowls, even Ricky Martin, and even global English language stars like Lady Gaga. And so here's what really made these performances different. Balance. English and Spanish blended in. The majority of viewers could follow along. No one accused them of being un-American. So critics are now asking, why couldn't this halftime show just do the same thing? Now that question removes the easy accusation. This is not about rejecting Hispanic culture whatsoever. This is about whether the biggest American stage should feel universally acceptable. That's the distinction that Stephen A. leaned into. Not exclusion, balance. And once you frame it that way, the debate changes shape because now the issue is not about identity, it's about proportion. And proportion is a hard thing to argue against. So here's what really made this go nuclear. It wasn't what Bad Bunny performed. It wasn't what Donald J. Trump posted on Truth Social. It was the reaction from The View on ABC. So when Whoopi Goldberg says critics are loud but not the majority, when Sunny Hostin suggests people should just learn Spanish, when concerns are brushed aside as small-minded, that's when the viewers feel dismissed.
I have one quick question. How fluent in Spanish is Sunny Hostin?
I believe her husband is Puerto Rican.
That doesn't mean she's
I
fluent.
think she is. Don't hold me to that. I'm pretty sure she's pretty fluent in Spanish.
Okay, moderate. Okay.
Yeah.
But she has a reason to learn Spanish, right? Her husband's from Puerto Rico.
Yeah, let me double check that.
If that's the case. Like, again, I worked with migrant workers. I had to learn some Spanish. I had to learn more than what they were teaching at school. I there's a reason, definitely. If you're going to be around a lot of people who speak another, if I were working in a German community, you can bet your happy butt I'd try learning some more German. If I was working with Russians, I would try to learn some Russian. Because literally, my Russian is limited to 2 words. But, it's about necessity out of it. And I have issues.
He's
What?
Spanish and Haitian.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So she probably knows some Spanish.
Right.
Haiti tends to be French, if I remember correctly, when it comes to spoken language. It's a dialect of French, if I remember right. Don't quote me on that. I very well could be wrong. Hold on, let me double check.
Oh, she is half Puerto Rican and half African American. I knew somebody was Puerto Rican, so she is.
Well, I know people whose parents were Puerto Rican and they didn't learn a lick of Spanish.
I know. Right, right. And Art made a good point here. He goes, one of his grandfathers spoke German, the other Norwegian. None of their children spoke anything other than English, and in caps, because they were Americans.
Haitians speak a form of Creole, which is French. Creole and French.
Right. Yeah.
It's which is a blended language itself with a lot of French words thrown into it, which we also hear in Louisiana quite frequently.
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
So again, like I've always said, if there's a need to learn a language, fine. If you want to just for the hell of it because you're bored, fine. If you're going to go travel, learn as much as you can about the language and culture. But English is and always has been the unspoken and now hopefully soon the national language of America. And it's like, it's not that hard.
Yeah, and this also adds to the issue of assimilation, right? You still keep, how do you blend your culture, your identity, but fold that into you're now an American, and what does that mean, being an American?
Well, for me, hearing multiple languages spoke is part of being American because we are a melting pot. Right. But English is the primary language that most people use. But I could walk into a restaurant and hear 6 or 7 different languages and not be bothered.
Right.
I can sit down, have a waiter who barely speaks English, but I can point to the menu and say that one. And they'll get it. It's, again, I can walk into a Mexican restaurant, read the menu, and know what I want. I can walk into a Chinese restaurant, read the menu, and know what it is. And it could be in the Romanized Cantonese Mandarin, and I would be okay. I can walk into a Greek restaurant and just be able to tell by the ingredients, even if I can't pronounce it. It's like there are ways to communicate, even if there isn't a common language, but it makes it easier to have that common language.
Right.
And Art was just saying that's why he ended up learning Japanese, because many of the monks were much better in Japanese than English. Again, a common language that you adapted to, but they do use English, just not as fluently. They're not as good at it. But at least they put forth the effort to know some English. Right. And again, if you're going to Japan, and that is where that is at, you should most definitely learn Japanese and not expect them to say or do anything else. Well, why do you think the menus at Chinese restaurants are numbered? Yes. Number 1. Number 2. They know that. They don't need to know anything else.
Right.
So, I mean, again, that is America to me. It is a melting pot of people who are working together, sharing their culture, sharing their what they can, and enjoying each other's company. I prefer them to be legally here. That is most definitely the preference. But to me, America is that blended pot, that blended group. When I lived outside of Detroit, and you see these people, they're black from Detroit, walking up to the Chinese restaurant and ordering in Chinese. Most people would be like, what? No, Yeah, but yes. And then thanks to anime, a shit ton of our kids are learning Japanese
Yep.
or Korean. Our kids are expanding their cultural understanding. However, anime is a very warped version of cultural understanding. If you use it, don't. Anime is not a direct reflection of what's going on in that country, but it's still fun to laugh at and enjoy. And again, like, there's nothing wrong with learning languages. You like Korean pop, that K-pop stuff, music. I bet you picked up quite a few phrases in Korean.
Yeah. There's
It does
only one particular group, so
well, but
we'll leave it at
still,
that.
well,
Yeah.
still, the point boils down to you enjoy their culture.
Right.
Even in
And
America, you
that
enjoy and
happened.
appreciate it.
Right. And that happened way later on in my music genre. They came way, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I've only been into them since, I don't know, maybe 18 or whatever. But
I had a coworker who was big into K-pop.
yeah,
She liked all the bands,
well,
and
they're
so
now well, we're getting off topic. We'll
well,
bring
but no,
them
you're
up another
asking
time.
what's American. To me,
Yeah.
that's part of American culture,
Yeah.
and
Well,
so
they're
that blending.
right. Well, we'll
But
see what happens.
I hope English maintains as the dominant language because I really, at my age, it is hard to learn a new language at my age. I will tell you that. My brain already hates me. I barely speak English anymore, and I try to learn Spanish.
Right.
We have that problem. So, again, I don't have a problem with people using other languages in their own setting or in a specific restaurant or if they're working with a company from overseas. I absolutely get the need to know those languages. But as a national language on our paperwork and on our driving tests and stuff, it should all be in English.
Mm-hmm.
So I will hold to that one. But, and of course, the View has to take the most insane perspective possible
Of course.
compared to the rest of society to
Right.
make everyone else look crazy. But, there's that. So,
Dismissed, not debated, dismissed. And that's the moment Stephen A separates himself. He doesn't scream, he doesn't insult. Well, maybe he did scream a little bit, but you get my point, right? He just simply says, millions didn't understand. That's not rage, that's observation. And when media personalities imply that reaction is ignorance, the divide widens because this becomes less about culture and more about whether everyday Americans are allowed to say, I didn't connect with that without being labeled. This is why this clip exploded online. It kind of felt like someone pushed back against dismissal. And that resonates. And so now we zoom out for a second because this was never just about one halftime show. This was about direction. Is the United States a melting pot with a shared language at its center? Or is it evolving into something more fragmented? Is the Super Bowl still a unifying ritual? Or is it becoming a platform for cultural messaging? Stephen A's eruption wasn't about music taste. It was about common ground. It was about whether the biggest national stage should feel inclusive to the largest number of people watching. Some see diversity expanding. Others see cohesion thinning. So when those two instincts collide, sparks fly. It's kind of like, is the glass half full or is it half empty? I guess it depends on whoever's looking at the glass. That's what happened here. No hatred, no chaos, a collision of visions. And when people feel unheard, they don't stay quiet, they push back. This is why this moment went viral, because underneath the halftime debate, this was a bigger question. What kind of country are we building here? And who gets to define that? That's the real story. And this is why this isn't over.
I have to agree. This is a much
Right.
longer. This is going to take years to sort out, And
Yes,
this
it
again,
is.
I probably would have said, if he had at least broken it up with some English, fine. But if his lyrics were so offensive that they wanted to keep it in Spanish completely as to not offend people, then that probably shouldn't have been your person for the
Your
halftime show.
playlist. Yeah. Or pick a different song.
Yeah. Something. Yeah. They should have
Right.
absolutely compromised more.
Doesn't the left always preach inclusion? Right?
Yeah.
Doesn't the left always preach inclusion?
But they want
Yet
us
they
to
left.
fully conform to their version, not the other way
Correct.
around.
Correct. So they left out
A lot of
millions
people.
and millions of people. Millions.
It's not okay. It's
Right.
not.
And I'll
And
tell you what,
I
come
hate it.
this time next year, if you don't think the turning point isn't going to ramp things up, you got another thing coming.
And I honestly, there
And I didn't watch
I don't think
Turning
there's a
Point either, but
problem with having two halftime shows and just
uh
divide it. Each person does
I don't
one song or does
yeah.
two songs, whatever.
Well, then
Break it up.
that kind of leads me to, and they've done that in the past. They've had like a
Yeah.
headliner with some other minor players, right?
Uh-huh.
But the whole issue of the national anthem versus the black national anthem, then why isn't there a Hispanic, a German, a Swedish, a Russian? You know
Oh,
what I mean?
then that gets out of hand. That's too much.
Yeah.
Only very specific people. Yeah, I know.
Mhm.
It leads to insanity.
Yeah, it does. Because again, it makes that distinction of that separation, that continual push. Let's keep people broken apart instead of pulled in together. You might have a
Mhm.
couple on each side that disagree, right? But for the most part, the majority is going to come together and get along. You're going to find your outliers, yes, but for the sake of, we're here to play football. We're not here to have a pissing contest about, songs. And, if
Yep.
we're going to say that English has been predominant, we have a national anthem, the Stars and Stripes, that, we have the flag that has all been established in our 250 years.
But now people want
Why?
to change it because their feelings got hurt because of the false
Cor-
history they've been taught over the years.
Correct. Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Which is something I complain about frequently and have gone on very long tangents about, but I will not do today.
Okay. What else?
As you guys
What else?
know.
What else do we got?
You sent over
Oh, yeah.
the executive order. There we go.
Yes. So this was actually the executive order for everybody to see, where Trump designated English as the official language of the United States.
And this
Uh,
will only include foreign federal branch, like federal use, federal reach. I think the states can still do whatever they want as
uh,
individuals, because an executive order
well,
is only impacts the federal government, if I remember correctly.
hold up one second. Don't scroll too fast there.
Oh,
So from the founding of our republic, English has been used as the national language. Our nation's historic governing documents, including the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution, have all been written in English. It is therefore long past time that English is declared as the official language of the United States. A nationally designated language is at the core of a unified and cohesive society, and the United States is strengthened by a citizenry that can freely exchange ideas in one shared language. In welcoming new Americans, a policy of encouraging the learning and adoption of our national language will make the United States a shared home and empower new citizens to achieve the American dream. Speaking English not only opens doors economically, but it helps newcomers engage in their communities, participate in national traditions, and give back to our society. This order recognizes and celebrates the long tradition of multilingual American citizens who have learned English and passed it to their children for generations to come. To promote unity, cultivate a shared American dream, blah, blah, blah. It is in America's best interest for the federal government to designate one and only one official language. And that would be English. It streamlines communication, and then it goes into definitions. We got agency, um, agency head. I don't know why we got to do all that. Uh, And then it goes into English is the official language of the US. Now, I didn't see this executive order. He revoked one that was from August 11th of 2000. Okay. The Attorney General, provisions. You see anything crazy, B?
Mm.
I don't see it saying anything specific to
Well,
the federal
executive
government.
orders are
Yeah,
pretty much
right,
within the what the federal government itself does.
right,
So if California wants to keep those medical papers that from your discharge in every language, they're allowed to.
they still allowed to do that. Yeah,
Yeah.
because they are servicing citizens that speak other languages. But that's right. So,
hmm
hmm,
And again, English is a second language to a lot of these people. They might be new
yeah,
here and not as fluent, which is where that helps out.
right,
But again, if I was raised to speak English, why would they start pushing me to learn Spanish? Because some celebrities are upset that I didn't already know the language. Like,
right,
no, it's on me to decide what I want to learn and when I want to learn it and how I learn it, and not them. And yes, I absolutely agree. Federal paperwork, driving tests, stuff like that should all be done in English because those are common things. Stop signs across the United States are always going to look the same.
yep,
Stoplights across the United States are always going to look the same. Road signs in general are going to look the same. A cop pulls you over, they're going to ask you the same questions, doesn't matter which state. You should at least know all of that in English. I think that's pretty simple. And if you're going to be a commercial driver's license, that requires English. Period. I absolutely stand by that one because Lord have mercy the accidents that have been happening on the freeways.
right.
God, I thought truckers were scary to begin with, and they've only gotten worse over time, and now it's really not good. And I got to drive all the way to Louisville and back
Mhm.
on Monday. Yay!
I'm gonna send you this. I don't know how it's gonna come over, Crazy B. All right, so
Alrighty.
let me see, because you know how that all goes. Where are you? Where you be?
If
There
road
we
signs
go.
are written in English, you should probably understand English to get a license. Amen. Thank you, Art.
Oh, that's funny.
It literally just said you.
I know it did. I know it did. I
That
just
did not come over
completed my thing.
properly.
That's funny.
That did not come over
Okay.
properly. I absolutely
No, it
guarantee it.
didn't. It did not. Okay, let's try this again.
Hold on, let me
Uh,
close this so when I open it in a tab, it will
okay.
work.
Shit, it doesn't wanna. I don't think
It
it's gonna.
it doesn't want to cooperate.
No, I don't think so. Hold on, I'll try one more time. Uh, wait. Let me go back. I don't. Okay, so I have no clue what's gonna happen. This is funny.
It's always fun when we're trying to figure things out, right?
Uh huh.
Ah, it's a Google
Okay.
search,
Yeah. See if
and
that helps.
it hold on. I got the Google search for what? Hold on.
Forget about it. I
I got
can't get
it.
it to.
I
You
got
got
it.
it.
I can do this. It's okay.
Okay.
I can do this little thing called copy, highlight and copy. Shoot, my hands hate me. Here we go. Paste and go. I had to cut the Safari out because it would have tried taking me to a Safari link.
Well, that wasn't the one I go to. Clicked on to why we didn't have an official language.
Oh, okay. Right down here.
Yeah, that gives the explanation as why the founding fathers didn't want us to have one.
Okay, the U.S. does not have an official language at the federal level because the founding fathers valued linguistic freedom, seeing it as a part of liberty, and the nation was already multilingual and diverse, with diverse immigration groups like German speakers whose support was needed at making a declaration divisive and undemocratic. While English is the de facto language of many states, oh my god, the de facto language, and many states have made it official. Federal inactions reflect the core American ideals of individual expression and historical understanding that a melting pot nation thrives on diverse languages, with efforts to declare English officials often failing due to these principles. And that's kind of one that I even held, but I think that, we should at least
Yeah.
learn some common language
Right. And
to communicate.
click the more under there, show more. And there's some good examples that there's approximately 30 states that have adopted English as their official language,
Hmm.
showing the different approach at the state levels. And it does talk about having our paperwork, you know, such as driver's license, etc., should
Hmm.
be in English. That it is the common language of government and business and most federal declarations.
Art says I need to see a good reference for what the founders thought about national language. Be careful what you find on the internet. Yeah, I've never
Yeah,
seen
we
anything proof that they
right.
had that. It was just the one thing that I always saw, and the reasons why is because they were from Europe, so they used English. Britain, most
Yeah,
of the founding fathers were from
right,
Britain. So
right.
that's why everything's in English, but they held no grudge against any other language. But all of our federal papers over the centuries have all been in
Have been in
English.
English. Correct. Yep.
So putting it as an official language just kind of, I don't know. Like we've had this debate before. You and Arby absolutely sided with English should be a national language. I sided with it doesn't matter one way or the other because English is already our primary language.
Right.
So, there's that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's
Yeah, there's a lot.
I'm just
Yeah, reading the chat. I figured you were probably reading the chat and some of this too. I hope the
yeah.
chat's big enough for you to read.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Well, it's smaller than what you have up on the screen, but it's okay.
I don't think I can control the
I
size of this
understand.
one.
I gotcha.
Hold on, let me try something though. Oh, I can make it bigger. Look at that.
Oh, voila, that makes the difference there.
It does.
Wow. Yeah, I can see.
Now you don't got to squint.
Right. Right.
Well, that
Yeah,
works.
I'm just going through some additional searches.
I missed this one. What? Has Dee been searching Chip and Dale dancers again?
Yes, I am. How'd you guess?
I missed that one while trying to deal with a few things, and yeah, that is a great one.
Yeah, so they do say that Spanish is the second most common language in the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what else.
Because our neighbors are Mexico, Spanish, and then French, I believe.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Because Canada speaks French, as well as English. Mexico and the southern ones speak Spanish and English, mostly Spanish, unless you want to go with Brazil, where it's a weird combination of languages.
So, yeah. So here's our the most common are English, Spanish, Chinese. Is it Tagalog? It's the basis of Filipino
Yeah,
from the Philippines.
I know,
Mhm,
I'm
then
pretty sure we're
Vietnamese.
pronouncing it wrong, but yes, it's part of the Filipino.
Yeah, I know we're pronouncing it wrong.
However, I want to point out their historical diversity is coming from Reddit users. That is their source, Reddit users.
Yeah. Well, this is from a linguistic place.
Well, no, I was just saying
Language
the one for the key reasons for no federal. One of their sources was literally Reddit users. And then the English as de facto comes from CNN.
Right.
There's also French in New Orleans. Yes, a lot of the signs are in French down in Louisiana, especially in New Orleans. You will see French signs with English on them too. Yep. It's kind of like going to Canada at the parts of Canada where English and French are on the sign. It's a it's a bilingual sign. Sorry. So,
Maybe
yeah, we have
maybe
areas like that.
yeah. Maybe this will be an appropriate source.
Okay, hold on one moment. Let me close. I don't want everybody seeing my tactics and what I do. And my bookmarks, it's not their business. Okay.
You can
There we
drop
go.
that even if you put that in the links.
Oh, I'm going to
Crazy
show
Bee. Yeah.
it.
Oh, okay.
And then
Yeah.
I am going to
Now
drop
that's
it in the
teeny.
show notes.
Yeah, that's teeny tiny. That's from PBS.
I can make it larger. Don't worry. Give me 1 minute.
Okay. Yeah, and we really didn't plan on talking about should or shouldn't the country be English speaking or not, but we've gone through this previously.
Yes. And just because other people are doing it doesn't mean we have to. Just saying.
Yeah.
Half the
would you
countries
jump
of the
off
world have
bridge?
an official language.
Yep.
And what? If everybody else jumped off a bridge, would you do it too? You know, we could go right back to that.
Right.
No, but I again, it's just officializing something that was already there to begin with.
Right.
That's all that this is really becoming. Hold on. Then there's the Deep South. God only knows what those people are saying. When I worked at Waffle House, there was a guy who would come in, and the only thing I would get from his order was maters. That was it. I would get maters. I had to have one of the other girls translate for me. And I still don't speak Deep South. And I still don't speak Mountain. I understand some of the dialects from the Appalachian where, I can hear through and get to the core English. I can get through the accents. But, yeah, there's still some language I do not get. And I apologize. I'm like, I am so sorry, sir. All I got was maters.
Wow.
He would laugh at me. He would laugh.
So 3 states have other official languages in addition to English. Hawaii.
Really?
It's been
yeah.
bilingual since 1959.
Yep.
South Dakota made Sioux a official language, and Alaska has more than 20 indigenous languages.
Yeah, because of the natives speakers. Right. Yes. What some people call Eskimos.
Right. And speaking a foreign language in public was once illegal in parts of the U.S. During and after World War I. Anti-German sentiment. You weren't allowed to speak it in the Midwest. It was a crime. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So the U.S.
Look at all these countries that have one official language. Look at all these countries.
Yep.
Notice they're mostly Europe and South America. A couple Middle Eastern.
Yep.
Oh, one from Africa that I see. I don't see any other ones out of the African continent that have just the one language. But it's okay.
Yeah, right.
I happen to know someone from Eritrea. They have no official language. Australia has no official language. Sweden does not. That's right. And Tuvalu, sorry. The Philippines and part of Africa live in a cultural paradox.
Crazy Bee, this is now funny. This is from PBS. And look at who their source is at the bottom.
I saw Wikipedia. Oh, a nation divided by one language official languages across the globe, and language
Right.
is a major political issue.
But PBS took it off of Wikipedia. We could have just went there.
Yep, that's their
So,
source.
geez.
Wikipedia.
Yep, Wikipedia. There you go.
Now, if I was at school and my teacher saw that was my only source, I'd get my paper kicked back to me and told, get more sources or fail. You have to
Yep.
have at least 5 sources or whatever. And you know how hard it is to find 5 sources on some stupid little back known fact thing that they want you to look up? It is hard. Really hard. I'm just going to point that out. I had a guy who worked for me who was from deep Alabama. You get him drunk and his accent would get deep. Yes. Drunk Southerners are fun. Especially if they have guns and old cars sitting in the back that are targets. You know, they got like 6 or 7 broke down cars with trees growing in them, and you just start blowing shit up. Oh, yeah. That's fun. Sorry.
It's all good. All right. You want to close it out a couple minutes early?
Oh, yeah. We're only 3 minutes out, so not bad.
Okay.
Gives us time. Let me
Thank
do
you
this.
for joining Rex Sisters, and please don't forget to like, follow, comment, share, and subscribe. And we will see you tomorrow at 7 p.m. on Friday. Thank goodness the weekend is almost upon us.
Yes. Finally.
I need it.
I do too. So.
Well,
And
you're gonna be busy.
I got a car to fix. I got a car to fix. Yeah, so I'm going to be quite
Right.
busy. Well, actually, I'm not going to. They are going to. I'm too sore to frickin' do any of that. I tried helping, and I'm still stuck in bed from trying to help from, what was that, Monday? Or something this week? I was like bent over in the car, and I'm like, oh, dead. So, but yeah, so with that, y'all stay safe, stay sane, stay sober, and we'll catch y'all on the next one.
Good night.
Good night.